All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Mr. Gage.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Before we approve the agenda, we're going to postpone action on item number 6, the wind energy ordinance. We're still waiting on some final language on that one, so with that, I would entertain a motion to approve the amended agenda. Motion by Weiss, second by Dennert. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. This time, we'll open the meeting up for any public comments. Anyone wish to address the commission this morning on any topic that isn't on the agenda? In the room, online, on the phone? Seeing none, we will move on. Dirk Rogers, Highway Superintendent, and Troy Nelson from IMEG. Bid opening for Brown County 14 project. Good morning.
Morning. How's everybody today?
Good, and you?
So far, so good.
You're on time.
Yeah, I am. I made the pledge. You guys just go ahead.
And he has a weapon.
Yeah.
The back of my pickup not gonna leave the ground when I go over this north set of tracks after this, or?
Hopefully, you can ask some of these folks in the
No
room
pressure.
about that.
No pressure.
So, Mike Gutenkoff and Chelsea Sheridan from IMAG.
Good morning.
I'll read the announcement for you, and then if you guys would mind just opening them and recording them, that would be great.
Certainly.
What's the engine resistance? Wow. All right, so this is specifically for the railroad track crossing. And, sealed bids will receive Brown County Auto 25 Market Street, Aberdeen, South Dakota, until 8:45 local time on Tuesday, 30th day of December for the above referenced project. Bids shall be prepared and submitted in accordance with the bidding documents. Brown County reserves the right to accept or reject any and/or all bids as set forth in the bidding documents. It does say that we're gonna open them today, and then I'm gonna cover another topic, and they'll check the math on them. And unless there's a unforeseen glitch in there, we'll award it today yet. If there's something that we got a question about, we'll award it next week. If that's all right with everybody.
Okay.
Project includes following work: 7-inch non-reinforced PCC pavement, and then some additional items that are listed in the contract document. Each bid should be accompanied by bid securities prescribed in the bidding documents. Successful bidder will be required to provide payment performance bonds as described in the bidding documents, and the documents can be reviewed at www.questcdn.com, so on and so forth. So, with that, I'd like you to go ahead and open.
Sounds good. First bid is from VX Civil and Construction from Del Rapids, South Dakota. Have a little build-up of drama here. Actually, I'm doing Okay. So from VX Civil, we have a bid in the amount of $412,541.70. Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Joe. Next bid is from Huff Construction, Aberdeen, South Dakota. From Huff Construction, we have a bid in the amount of $359,937.15. So $359,937.15.
Man,
Next.
stuff's expensive.
There's,
That's new.
well, there's a fair amount, there's engineered fill,
Sure.
and you're aware of that.
Yeah.
Wright and Sudlow Inc. is the next bid from Aberdeen, South Dakota. From Wright and Sudlow, we have a bid in the amount of $349,922.24. Next bid, Reedy Construction Inc. from right here in Aberdeen. From Reedy Construction, we have a bid in the amount of $289,361.75. Keep getting better.
Going in the right direction.
Next bid is from Timmons Construction Inc. from Brookings, South Dakota. From Timmons Construction of Brookings, we have a bid in the amount of $605,537.04. That's the last one. Yeah.
Motion to refer for consideration at a later time, or today, yep.
Okay, motion by Weiss, second by Gage to refer for review. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you to all the bidders. We appreciate your interest and submission of bids.
Have a good day. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, discuss Bridge 346 in the Hecla area. All right.
Well, I've gotten a few calls about this. I asked to put it on the agenda, but the people wondering different things, what exactly triggered it, why, and then, a little bit of concerns as to why the township wasn't notified, things like that.
Sure. I can't give you a good answer on the township notification. That's something we're supposed to do, and as far as the timeline, when Chelsea was here and they did our bridge reports, that was one of the pieces of information in that set of, and then shortly after that, we closed it. But yes, you are correct. It's been a while since we closed one permanently like that, so I didn't review what the notification to the township is. I want to go through a little history of the bridge first. And then we can cover, I mean, this is the third one of these. We just went through this with the Hall Crossing. It's 1 mile from where we built another bridge. And I did bring this one along. Rachel, would you do me a super nice favor? Just grab any random thing and hang that up there. We're not gonna get too much detail, but that's about 8 years, so about 1992-ish. That's how many bridges we had, 164. Right now we have 130. The lower right-hand corner, you can see that's where a lot of them have come out. And right around Aberdeen, there's quite a few that have come out. And as a couple folks in the room know, between Aberdeen and Highway 10 up there, or excuse me, Highway 11, that's the hall, up by the Hall pit, I think there's 4 that have come out in about 8 miles up there. So this isn't like it's an anomaly where we close them when they get bad. But I do want to cover the history, because this was kind of interesting when I went back and looked at this. The bridge on 5, and if I get too long, just tell me to shut up.
Yep.
But the bridge on 5, the good one, which I figured was actually originally built secondly. That one was built first, about 1921. And then the one that we're talking about, the structure that's there now is not the original structure. The original structure was built in 1940 as part of a WPA project, which was a great program, but as far as project selection with the WPA projects, the goal was to put people to work. It wasn't necessarily to be efficient about it. And it was a good program. I'm not being critical of it. I live on a lake that's, you would never build right now. So the original bridge was built in 1940, and it sat there until they did do there's different, from 1940 to 1968, they've replaced the flooring on it, they've done different stuff with it. And then 1967, somebody drove a scraper across it. I can't quite read who did it, but it's in the bridge Bible, end of 1967. And that was it for that bridge. So they took Bridge 83, which is the last bridge on the Fernie Warner Road. It's the one over the Mud Creek, furthest east, almost to Fernie. They jacked that one up and hauled it up there. And the bridge that's up there now was placed up there in 1968. And it was a 10-ton bridge when they put it in there in 1968. So a side note, since 1968, that's the highest that bridge has ever been for carrying capacity, 10 tons. And it's been closed twice since then, and then the county went back in, the last time being in 91, and Graves Construction came in, drove some more pile, and added and tweaked some stuff. So that's 34 years ago, and, you know, over the years, which I'm sure you guys, this is just out of our bridge Bible, and it goes through and it shows you where they were doing whatever they could to salvage what was there at the time, and bring it back so it could carry cars. When this topic came up, I visited with Chelsea and Mike to learn a little bit about, you know, what the final death knell here is. There's not enough stuff to work with anymore. We're to the point that if you're gonna do something with the structure, you're gonna have to redrive all the substructure. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
And, we just estimated that on another bridge, and that's about a $300,000 thing. So if you're gonna put that kind of investment in it, you wouldn't put that old truss back on it. I don't really know what to say. Maybe 25 years ago, we'd have run this through the federal bridge program. We used to get 2 and 3 every single year, and that's why you see a few probably from the late 90s, early 2000s, where you look at them now through our 2025 eyes, you're like, why the hell did you put a bridge here? And I also kind of get this one, but the other problem with this one, even if we did run it through the bridge program, because of the detour length isn't very long, and the traffic count isn't very high, it's not going to score very well versus the other bridges in the state. So that's my background on the bridge, and I'm more than happy to listen to what anybody wants to comment on it. But I don't have a good solution for making what's there usable even for a car for any period of time, and to put pipe in there and make a low water crossing. We've already done that experiment several times and it's failed every frickin' time. So the main thing is it's $2.4 million to replace it. We just spent about that same amount 10 years ago on the one on Road 5 to replace that one. So those are all the reasons why I get to the conclusion, when the engineers say close it, we lose our liability coverage. I mean, when the guys with the PEs, and gals, sorry, but the people with the PEs say, and that's what we're hiring them to do, it's time to close this bridge. And you can even ask Chelsea, we don't like doing this because we end up in this situation. She begs us to close them, and I'm like, well, let's just wait till the state sends us a nasty letter or something, and, but that's basically the process of that. But I'd be willing to answer any questions anybody has about it, and I'm sure IMEG would too, specific to the bridge.
Mike, did you have a comment?
Yeah, so, Mike Elson, thanks for the time today. I serve on the Liberty Township Board too, and the bridge is in Liberty Township. I guess one of the things about that bridge is kind of a historic bridge. I don't know if it's registered, or something like that. It's not registered?
Bridges are a little different. That one would be historic. It's not it's a historic bridge, but it's not on the bridge register, or the historic register. If you went through the process, it would be eligible probably to be put on there
to be
possibly.
put on there. So, but the main thing with that bridge is a lot of people use that for, not for heavy use, but for light trucks. It's in Sand Lake. A lot of people, when the Eagles come through, people drive through there. They like to look at it. It's a nice scenic deal. A lot of people from Heckle like to walk there. There's a lot of rushes in that area. If there's ever a fire, it'd be very difficult to fight a fire there. So if you got like a pickup with a little tow down there to, you know, to service that fire without that bridge there, to be able to cross in that area. That's probably one of the bigger areas of cattails in that area, I think. Wouldn't it be, Hal?
Yeah,
So, I mean, which is actually close to Hecla too. That would probably affect Hecla if you had a fire there. So, you know, I know what you were saying about, and then there's one residence, two over there. I think Glenn Mitchell, you know, has got a place over there too. So, you know, I think one of the comments was like $350,000 to get it to maybe where it'd be serviceable as it is. I don't know if there's any kind of historic grant money. I mean, what are the options? What can be done, you know? I mean, I think as a township, I don't think we'd like to lose that bridge. I think a lot of people in Heck would like to keep that bridge too. I mean, people walk their dog, I mean, maybe we could keep it, you know, like a street, you know, for light vehicles, cars and light trucks, you know, that there's something that can be done that we can do that to keep it open. I wish I kinda shocked it was closed, barricaded off. I heard from
Really?
yeah.
And I get that, and I will admit, I didn't even, honestly, I knew there would be a shitstorm when we close it. There is every time this happens, so I get lost on not notifying the township, and I did not do that. But there's nothing, I mean, I appreciate everything you're saying, but you're describing a park though, you know, I mean, it's, I'm worried about getting the crops to the frickin' elevator, or to the bin, you know what I mean? And so, I had the same argument with my good friends at Richmond Lake, because I dared to tell them we do farm-to-market roads. Commuter traffic is secondary, and I'm gonna get shot for that someday, but that's the way it is. When we started the county road system, it was farm-to-market, so I've always tried to hang on to that, and at various levels of success, I will also admit, but, the other thing is, I've been trying to contract this thing for 20 years, and that's why we have 12 fewer people, that's why we have 34 fewer bridges, and unfortunately, you're on one of our milled roads too, you know, that also was trying to get things closer to where we can afford them. I mean, I'm not discounting anything you're saying, and hell, I like driving up there to get away from stuff because it's a nice little spot, but when I put on my fiscal responsibility hat, it's just, and I'm not saying we can't explore what you're saying. I'll have to visit with these guys and come up with something amicable there. But
I don't think anybody's asking for more of a bridge than what's
No,
there, but
I
I mean, people, I think there's quite a few instances where the county's done things for like historical or tourism type of deal, which is a kind of a tourism site. A lot of people go to the refuge there and look at the geese, the eagles go through there, and the fire thing, I mean, it is a big deal, but, I kinda said what I was gonna say. Hal, probably, you have some stuff.
Why do the Hal Treby from Heckler Township, why do the Low River crossings not work? Low water level, I mean.
well, there's a few things at that location. The maintenance on them aren't any cheaper it's actually probably cheaper to have the bridge in there for your maintenance, you know, because not too much happens to the bridge. The low water crossings, every year the water comes up, you're gonna go spend whatever to put it back together. The other thing is, putting them, and guys can comment on that, the Corps is not real excited about you doing that, so I'm not, again, it's not that it can't be done, but you do have a lot of challenges with it. And then the number of pipe you probably have to put in there to offset the rise. I don't know, that's one of the things, is anytime I've ever looked at them, they're not very cheap either. But we had one at Hall Crossing, we had one at the Ham Crossing, And I will admit that the Elm's a little different river than the Jim, you know,
Yeah,
it
you
kind
go
of
outside
comes,
there.
comes up and soaks everything, goes back down, where the Elm will wash stuff out. But yeah, that's it, and it's, you know, the other one that I usually have to say to the people around Aberdeen is you're a mile from another bridge, and I know you gotta drive around and all that, and I'm not saying that none of that matters, it's just that location and the cost to do something there, with the exception that we will take a look, but they've kind of been taking the bad bridge and holding it together for 65 years, you know, that's why I'm saying we're kind of running out of skin to do facelifts with here.
Well, and when you had mentioned 300,000, that would just be for the foundation of the structure? That wouldn't be for the deck or anything to then drive over it? Where you're looking at, you know, 1 to 2 million for a whole new structure.
I don't think anybody's asking for a
No.
brand new structure. I think we're just asking if we can, it's like I run old equipment on the farm, I mean, it's not the best time. I got 10,000-hour tractors, right? So, we make them do, we try to do the best. I mean, one of the things I think as a township we're asking, is there, everything been exhausted before we've gotten to this spot? Is there more we can look at? Can we get something by it to get by more years out of it, just as it is? I mean, what are the options, what are the I mean, we're kind of going from what bridge is there to a brand-new bridge. I don't think anybody's asking for a brand-new bridge, you know, so, I don't, you know.
My simple answer, Mike, is that's something I've never even contemplated. You know what I mean? You either fix it so that it can be used or
Well,
not.
it's been work,
There's-
been done before on this bridge, it's been.
Oh, multiple times, but that's sort of what I'm getting at, is we're kind of past, there's not really, without adding some more stuff in there. That doesn't mean we won't explore what you're talking about. You said one other thing there.
What about the townships, if they got together and did some of the repairing, like got the Mitchell brothers to do the work, who are experts at building things?
There's probably something there, but the county's gonna own that bridge until it becomes a culvert, which there's a way to make, you know, you could put in a bunch of spaced out pipe and make it a township deal. That wouldn't be hard, but again,
Remind us of the span of this bridge.
it's like 60 feet, isn't it? 61,
I wouldn't think it would be
Yeah,
that much.
62 feet.
62. So even like a Holloway bridge in there right now, which is the cheapest, or a modular steel bridge, which, again, we haven't had great luck with them. The one out going to the, Richmond's not so bad, but the one that gets a lot of farm traffic, we've had trouble with. But that's about the cheapest thing I can think of to throw in something that would be, unless you get into like the stuff they sell for parks, you know? Yeah,
Can you,
Commissioner Gage.
is there any way to put something that would be 7 feet apart, I think, right, 'cause 6 feet is a bridge.
Right.
So 7 feet apart, but keep it low enough to where you can cross it unless it's a high water situation where it overtop, because I know it does not flow as much where it would tear it out like the Elm has done to a couple of those.
Yeah. No, you
And
could,
then, so then that could be a township culvert that would qualify for the, whatever the four-letter acronym it is for that program, the,
it won't count until you go to
RAFE
replace.
program.
You can't use the RAFE money for a bridge. So until you take it out, put in the culverts, and then if you wanted to replace some culverts, replace them, it's freaking government for you.
So you can't use it to put them in. but-
How, long
Okay.
is the thing
Not as a
on the
replacement.
north side of Mina that we just put in? That's 4
Yeah,
8-footers.
Yeah, it's 4 8-footers, and then they're spaced out 4 feet apart.
So then we got another 12.
Yeah.
So that's 4 8-footers would be 32 and another 16, that's 48, and that was 180,000 for those 4 8-footers. But that's gonna cause a rise on Road 5 if you do that, without having an overflow on it or something.
Would it work to have, in that location, would it work to possibly have some form of overflow, in your opinions? Just the way that
Well, it would be,
elevations are?
it would be part of the, if you were gonna go with the, low water crossing, then you would have a spot in there
Yeah.
where it would go over. The problem we got here is, that would work great if the bridge was fine and the road was screwed up. But the problem is, it's the bridge, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not, if you guys come up with something or you wanna commit some money to it, that's fine. It's just, it doesn't really fit into my program, or the way that I've been going at it. But
And we need to be careful to set a precedence for the rest of the county. We'll have 10 other people in here next week.
Rachel's father-in-law will be in here in about 12 seconds.
Yeah, he's probably on his way.
Yeah. He's not listening right now, is he?
I did get a call from him where we were talking.
Yeah.
He heard it through the phone.
I mean, I could see some validity to a low water crossing. I don't know how much it would cost, though, would be the biggest thing, and just how practical it is. But, I mean, hypothetically, that sounds good. Whether it works or not, that's another question. I'm not the expert.
If the people want it that much, and the township could do some sort of levy, I don't know all the rules for that. And it could be voted on by the people in the township, and if they deem it to be of enough value to spend a few $100,000, we could transfer it to a township deal. I mean, then the people decide. I mean, it's a little easier that way.
Do you recall the cost on that recent low water crossing estimate that we put together? I'm putting you on the spot, Mike.
Different county and, bigger, much smaller structure. But that was $200,000-300,000, because you got, if it's done properly, you got concrete,
Grading.
you know, and the water can flow over with minimal maintenance. You can do a low water crossing with higher maintenance, where you've got a bunch of rock that gets replenished every time it really flows.
In which case you fill in the channel every 3-4 years,
Right.
Yeah.
which we've done.
It'd probably be in the same ballpark or a little more than the maintenance cost you were discussing to replace the substructure, the steel.
One thing I'd like to add too about this location of this, the bridge is the high spot. That road goes under long before the bridge is even, I mean, you can't access it from the west. A little bit, the east part will stay open a little longer, but I mean, when we have a flood event, that's unpassable. I mean, that's one of the first things that goes underwater, so.
How deep does that get under? On
varies.
like a fairly high water situation?
It'll go all the way past
On the road.
to the west of the hunting farm there. I know they've done some drainage work along there, but I mean, the whole river bottom there will flood.
Yeah.
We weren't able to get to it with a four-wheeler to go fishing.
Yeah.
On the top
To
of
the
it.
deck.
Yeah, that'd be the elevation you'd want your low water crossing at.
Right.
Of the road.
Yeah,
But-
same level as the road, back away.
My point here that I'm trying to get to is do you wanna invest that kind of money into a low water crossing when it's only accessible not very often, like now and when the water's low, you can, but I mean, that's a lot of time, effort, and money to go into a location like that. And I'm not saying not, I'm just saying it's something to consider.
This is Matt Heupel, he's like our Director of Operations, for those of you that don't know him. If you remember
Sorry.
Kendall, he kinda,
We know that.
well, you guys do, I just didn't know, some random dudes piping up in the commission meeting, I mean.
If you see me driving around up there, don't shoot at me.
That looks like it's about 13, 14 feet deep there underneath the bridge there. I'm not saying the whole thing's that way, I don't know if you get scour under there or no.
13 or 14 feet below the bridge to the bottom of the river?
Yeah.
That would be all right.
The channel.
I would say.
But it wouldn't have to be actually that deep, because the road is a lot lower. That's really the overflow, so that's pretty deceptive on, the height of the bridge, or really with the flow of the water.
Again, the bridge wasn't.
How much higher is the bridge than the road?
So,
Like in the lowest spot?
8 feet.
Oh, really?
That's my guess. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I suppose. I haven't been up there in a while. Yeah.
When the water is high, like at its highest, whatever it was, 2013, when it was at its highest, there was still, there was never water up to the bridge. It was, and like other bridges, it's usually there's 5 feet at least below the bridge before you get water, on the highest that I remember it.
But you just can't get to it.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta walk or you just drive forward or whatever, I mean, but anyway, I grew up on that bridge too, I get it, it sucks. But,
Good fishing spot.
oh, gracious, yeah. We don't
Or
get
are the
that.
conservation groups got any resources for something like this?
But, I mean, the fire thing is a major issue too, I think, you know, I mean, if you have a fire and you can't service both sides, it can be very difficult.
Again, it's a 3-ton bridge.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
wouldn't get
but
over
you-
the fire engine anyway.
Yeah.
No, but like if you got brush fires, a lot of times you gotta pick up a toad on it, you know,
Right.
water 250.
Yeah.
We have one ourselves for our farms.
I'm not against exploring more options, but I just, to replace this, I mean, this is consistent with how we've dealt with the similar situations, and I'm not discounting anything y'all are saying at all. So we'll look at a low water crossing. I'll tell you going into it though, I feel like I'm a knucklehead for looking at them, because we're 0 for 3 on those things. Again, this one would be on the gym, so maybe we'd have a better shot if we did do it.
We can't just sell it for $1.
No, I was hoping that was gonna come up today, but
I was waiting for it.
I guess one thing I might add, I mean, would Sand Lake be interested, be a contributor of some sort of money, grant money or anything for this project? Or, I mean, if that is something the county can look into, you know?
I will ask them the question, based on their cooperation on the Sand Lake Bridge, I'm not hoping for a whole lot, but, and I didn't research this, but guessing at the timeline of that bridge, I would almost bet that when this bridge was originally built, it was for the things you're describing. It was for people to use the refuge, because I can't for the life of me come up with the reason why you would build it for transportation. And I'm not, again, not discounting what anybody does up there, but come on, if you look at a map and look at this bridge and where the roads go, it's like, the only function it has is exactly what you said, was recreational access for the thing, and it was built in 1940 by WPA, so where I'm headed with that, I wouldn't be shocked if the whole thing was motivated by the refuge originally, because I can't find another reason why that bridge would be there.
There's not even any ag land up there, is there?
No.
Not,
A little bit of
not
hay.
close, but
No,
no,
I
I mean,
mean-
just for pickups and.
Right, and
That's all
I-
crosses, the pickups and side by sides and.
But
nobody
yes,
uses
I
for
will
heavy
ask
machinery.
them and see if there's anything they can come up with there.
I mean, we have, I just whispered to Lynn over here, we've got, you know, the county grant. I mean, obviously, I don't think it'd be a good use for the county to, you know, throw just buku bucks at this thing. But man, if we could find a grant, I mean, that would certainly be worth exploring. And if the answer is no, it's no, but, I mean, man, at least give it a shot and see if there's dollars available, and if there are, then maybe we can make something happen. I mean, I don't know that the odds are great, but I think it's probably worth our time to at least do our due diligence and see if it's, if there's happens to be dollars out there, but.
At least we can say we tried.
Yeah, at least give it a try, and, you know, and if we come up with something great, if not, then we tried. I mean, 'cause
You'll do a little further, exploring on options?
You have
I'm gonna be gone the rest of the week,
Ducks
so won't be
Unlimited?
till Monday. Do we have friends at Ducks Unlimited? If we're giving them money, they're pretty friendly, it seems.
We're asking.
Everybody else money, so.
I'm trying to think of, Sand Lake would be an option, although federal money isn't exactly flowing freely right now.
just wait.
Just wait.
What we need is some publicity for a private donor,
There we go.
because we have had those instances where if somebody's willing to write the check,
Yeah,
we can make that happen.
We need a year-end tax write-off.
That's right.
yep.
They want to be benevolent and say, hey, this is something that's near and dear to my heart.
We have built bridges that reason before.
That's right.
How passionate are you about this? All right, any other comments, any other questions?
Nope.
We appreciate everybody
Well,
coming
it's
in
good to bring it
today.
up, and we
Thanks for
appreciate your
coming to
passion
town.
for that, you make good points, and
Just wanna make sure everything's been exhausted before something's been.
That'll give her something to do for the rest of the day.
Every time.
Thanks, guys.
and those snow move.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Yep. Happy New Year.
Appreciate you.
Okay.
Another year, though.
Exactly.
Thanks, Mike.
Have a good one.
Good, thanks.
You.
Gotta have those.
Hi, I want, since I'm here, and this isn't on the agenda, so I'm just gonna talk for a minute. One of the resulting things from, and tell me if I say something I'm not supposed to, but, from our audit was...
Before he says it.
It'll be too late.
It's more like stop me.
Can we have like a 15-second delay?
Which was our snow fund, the snow, emergency snow fund. I don't really have a problem having it there, and Lynn didn't particularly either. It just sort of sits there, and we have bought 2 snow blowers out of it. The recommendation was that we spend that from the state. I don't care either way, but what I was gonna propose, if we're gonna spend it, and we've been trying to chase down mower tractors, you can use the snow money to buy mower tractors, because it's controlling the foliage for the snow. So I wanted to pursue that, getting a couple of tractors for mowing, use that money, won't pay for 2 of them, but it'll pay for a portion of them. Like I said, we can talk about it later, but that's just something that I wanted to mention, because I might start pursuing that shortly to see,
How much is left in that fund?
how much is it?
For now.
$231. The tractors would be about $1.66, what I'm looking at, so, a piece. So whatever.
You can't just borrow them and put tires on them anymore.
I know, for $5. And it's even, they even quit everybody uses them, but they can't move the tractors. That's happened twice now. The $5 ones went until they couldn't move them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last batch, they were down to 15, RDO didn't do it, but, some of the other folks did, down to $15 an hour, which was still pretty good. But the same thing happened, they can't move the 250-hour tractors quick enough, and now they're like, the one dealership's got 34 of them right now, so it's kind of a time to pursue them a little bit if we want to, so. How'd we do on we're all good?
Math checks out.
And Reedy's is low? Reedy's is low. I would recommend that we award the Road 14 project to Reedy Construction then.
Okay, move. Motion by Dinger,
Second.
second by Weiss. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Do you have a rough idea how long the road would be closed there? Just,
At where?
at 14? When, no idea.
No, it's not gonna be closed.
Oh, I
That's
think that
why
it
it's
would.
so- That's why it's so expensive. Now,
Okay.
I'm just gonna throw this out here, and they had requested, the low bidder had requested an alternative to close the road, and I said, no.
Okay, I understand.
I do not wanna
I thought you said they were
deal
going
with
to.
that, and there's other numbers in this thing. We gotta pay $150 an hour for the railroad flagging the entire time the project's going on, so when I made my little comment about how much things cost, there's a lot for, it's a little frustrating if you look at, 200 foot of county road, or 300 foot of county road we're addressing here for
Dealing with the railroad.
$240,000 frickin' dollars. I mean, that's worse than a bridge.
Yeah, it is. So, we're not, obviously cannot touch the track, so we're just doing the road on either side of it?
Yep.
Trying to make it a little bit...
We're gonna put concrete in there, so
Okay.
we've had success at the main line. We had the same problem until we put concrete in there, and the concrete panels will still move a little bit with your freeze and thaw, but it does not seem that you have near the deflection in there. So that's the goal of this, is just make it all concrete, and then you got the crossings in there that are their own separate deals, and,
The frost heave is gonna do what it's gonna do.
Yep, and,
Sorry to interrupt.
no, you're the smart guy, I'm just talking fast until they ask me a question.
With the geotechnical report, there's a recommendation of engineered bill. So I don't remember the exact amount, I wanna say it's 3 to 4 feet underneath. to help
Mhm.
mitigate frost heave.
Could not say no to that, or
Yep.
do that.
Yep. It's a lot of work, actually.
Engineered
Mhm.
fill is they take like normal gravel and find a way to make it cost like $300 a ton is basically what engineered fill is, so.
Yeah,
Very
is it an oil product, or?
No.
No,
No.
it'd be granular sand gravel type product, that'll.
Specific aggregate mix.
With this many grams of rock and this many grams of
Exactly.
sand down to the gram?
Exactly.
Layered to.
And then depending on what your pit looks like and what you're trying to make, sometimes you don't have the right shit in your pit to make that, you know, so then that's, engineered fill is always frickin' expensive because it's hard to make.
And I guess I probably have a number here, but, it isn't susceptible to frost heave like the clay soils
Mhm.
that are in place are all over the county.
Water drains out, it's just.
Yep.
Granular subgrade fill, $27 a yard. So
Oh, that's not too bad.
not horrendous,
No.
but it's expensive.
Okay.
Shouldn't be a lot of mobilization.
No.
No,
That's what they told me, they go, down the road, this is 3 blocks from our office, we can't not get it. But, yeah, it'll be a stop and go, Drew, there, everybody, I believe will have to stop, right? You're only gonna have one
One
lane
lane at a
for part
time.
of it, but it'll always be open.
That's fine. I was just curious, if people ask.
Yeah, there was, our alternatives, although at that deal you got roads there, it wouldn't be that hard to run them
No.
on, around.
That'd be very easy to go
I'm not
around.
going through.
But
From my place.
running 3,000, the problem there is we're talking 3,500 cars, and we're gonna have a blade up there all the time on that
Yeah.
east-west
Yeah.
road, and
You'd absorb a lot of them on Prairie Wood Road, but a lot of them would just go on the gravel road.
Oh, yeah?
It's very easy to go around, so that's why I'm not too worried either way, but just curious more when people ask.
I hope the people in town will go over to Roosevelt and go down, you know what I mean? If you
Yeah,
work in
yeah.
town, and even if that is your, but I already know, because the same people will send me emails, you know.
Creatures I have it, we'll take the shortest
Yeah,
route.
we're just gonna keep driving on this shitty road and complain about it instead of going the other way, and sorry, you're gonna have to censor half the meeting.
Strike that for a minute.
Okay.
All right.
All right,
I'm
cut him
good.
off,
All
cut him
right.
off.
Thanks, Eric. Can you put a beat button on it?
You're done
Yeah,
now.
I'm taking the rest of the week off, but you all can call me if you need something, no problem.
All right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you guys
Take
too.
care.
Thanks, Matt.
You
Yep,
made it
thank you.
a whole year? Or just 2 years?
Yeah.
No.
Just one whole year?
Yeah, I made it.
You seem better than when you started, so even something must be working.
Yeah, it doesn't look any better though.
Yeah, nothing to do with it, Morris, nothing to do with aesthetics, I was just commenting.
Mike gets to sit right here.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Andy.
Appreciate the
All
time
right,
this morning.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
All right, next up, hearing for temporary special event alcohol license for the Aberdeen Area Chamber of Commerce.
Notice of hearing for temporary special event alcohol license. Notice is hereby given according to South Dakota Codified Law 35-2. A public hearing on the following temporary special event alcohol license application for malt beverage and wine to be used by the Aberdeen Area Chamber of Commerce will be held on December 30th in the chambers of the Brown County Commissioners in the Courthouse Annex, Brown County, South Dakota, at which time any interested persons wishing to register complaint on their approval may appear. Aberdeen Area Chamber of Commerce, Aberdeen, South Dakota, for business after hours to be held at Egg Taker Innovation Center. And the license will be effective on January 8th.
All right, is there anyone here to speak to this temporary special event alcohol license? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Move. Second.
Motion by Dinger, second by Weiss. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 7, uncollectible mobile home tax from Brown County Treasurer.
Hi.
Good morning.
So there's 4 to add to our list. Every year we come in and do this. These are ones that, most of them are not livable. Eventually we'll get our money when the park needs to move them out. So if the city comes in and condemns them also, that kind of speeds it up a little bit. But we don't have to take any further action once a distress warrant has been returned from the sheriff's office, where they tried to collect it for the previous year. So just double checking that I can add that to the list. We don't advertise it, we don't try to do anything until it's time to move it out of there, and then we can collect those taxes.
Move. All right, we have a motion by Denner, second by Weiss. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
All right, thank you.
That was easy. Thanks, Betty.
Happy New Year.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year.
Same to you.
Thanks.
All right, approve and authorize chairman to sign the joint cooperative agreement with the Northeast Council of Governments for 2026. It was in the packet. You have a chance to review it.
Move. Second.
Motion by Weiss, second by Gage. It's an annual agreement that we do every year. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Approve and authorize chairman to sign the 2026 county jail bed per diem contract with Roberts County. It was in the packet as well.
Move.
Motion by Weiss, second by Dinger. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, declare Northwestern Reporter Book surplus from the judicial system. Letter was in the packet regarding the collection of books to be declared surplus. Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Put me on, no.
The remote? You want the remote?
I don't know about that, I just like them.
We're looking for a home.
I have to find somebody else's home.
Approve and authorize chairman to sign towing contracts with the following businesses. There's 4 different towing companies there. Eddie's Northside, Curtis Auto, Knight's Towing, and Towing Plus.
Second.
Motion by Weiss, second by Gage. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, resolution 2025-58, our discretionary formula.
Can you give me a Reader's Digest version of that quick? I read it.
You read it? Starting in 2027, we would have all of our commercial, industrial, and downtown historic properties now start on a discretionary where they come onto the assessment books of 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100% increments over a 5-year period. That is the standard incremental increases that's advised by Department of Revenue, and that's also the increment that allows us to not be losing local effort, or what we're calling local effort. The ones we're removing, industrial, right now, where we're going 0% for 5 years. By the time you get to the end, that money that's supposed to be, that first 20% is supposed to be there your first year, and since it's not, it's counted against our local effort for our schools. Same as downtown. So by the time, on that last one, by the time you get to your 5th year and it's 100% exempt, that 100% goes against our local effort, which increases our TAD levies for our school districts. So what this does is puts us back on pace, on schedule with what is recommended, or what is the standard by the state to make us account for all of our local effort.
It's a staged incentive that over the course of 5 years, it basically forgives 2.
Yep. Yep.
And it still does allow for exceptions on an individual case basis.
Yep, and so the ones that are currently on the 0 for 5 years, starting in 26, yet they're still going to be able to continue at 5-year increments like they're planning on. We'll start this in 27. There's going to be new construction going on this summer that was counting on 26 having 5 years of 0% discretionary. So the old ones will be grandfathered in, will keep going like they are, but starting 27 coming on, we'll go back onto the state standard.
20%.
20, 40, 60, 80, 100, yep. This may be revisited at some point in that legislation coming up this summer, or this session, which may change that $30,000 threshold to a $100,000 threshold, and we'll have to see what happens if that were to pass.
Mm-hmm.
It's been $30,000 since I started doing this in 1990, so $30,000 building in 1990 and a $30,000 building in 2025 are different buildings.
Yep. Time to be looked at.
Everything's permanent, well, it's not. Move.
We have a motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Dennert, to approve the new discretionary formula. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, Gene.
Thanks, Gene.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy New
Next
Year.
up, budget hearing.
Everybody go.
We're here.
We know. What do you think, you're the highway?
That's what I asked her. Is there anything left?
She's waiting until she gets happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Rachel.
Thank you.
Birthday.
With the cake. No cake.
It was in there somewhere. It was hiding.
Yeah, we had passed it around 3 times to initial it.
Did I ever get it? I don't think I ever got it.
Extra copy?
You passed it over there.
Yeah, if you can.
I have an extra, I printed one off.
I mean, I could-
Assuming it's the same.
hiding somewhere in there.
It was in there.
More.
Okay, the first one I needed a motion on is the auto supplement. Going down, you have the election, we received payment from the city for their election we did back in June. For maintenance, we got 2 of the court security grants back, so that would, be put back into her budget for reimbursement. And then with the jail, the padded cell, we're using some of the opioid funds there. The museum, 10,000 from the city promotional fund that they received, and then the 6,000 from the EGYMCA grant. Offset that budget.
The auto supplement is 194,028.94. So I'm reading
Nope,
this.
sorry, that's a little bit further, that's the rate money that would go from the rate to
Oh,
the highway
okay.
for,
I thought that was the total, but I see now it wasn't. Okay.
yeah,
Okay, those are just separate amounts.
yeah. That's just a transfer from the rate to the highway for the,
Right. Right,
that
okay.
they did there.
See what I'm reading now. Do you want a motion on just those 5, okay?
Six, actually.
Sorry.
Okay. We have a motion by Gage, second by Weiss on the auto supplements. Are there any questions, comments, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Okay, next would be our contingency for the ones that are over budget. The grand total on that's $102,103.07. We've got judicials over, A&N attorneys is over. Fire Chief Association went over just a little bit. Then developmentally disabled, went over because we ended up with 2 more in Redfield that we have to pay for. Mental illness board is over. Museum is still short with that 10,000, so, and then parks and fairgrounds were over, and then weed and pest and planning and zoning. And the truancy court, which, truancy court, we're actually gonna close that out since we haven't been using it, so.
Not too bad considering our crystal ball estimates.
Nope.
Oh,
Okay, we have a motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Dennert. Do the contingency transfers, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Okay, and then next would be, assigning some funds. You guys wanted 100,000 for commission for legal fees. I'd like to ask for 61,000 for elections on the new equipment that you guys seen the quotes for.
Mm-hmm.
And then we wanted to allocate the 50,000, from the opioid to the mental health, center. And then, just talking with Dirk in regarding the roads out at the fairgrounds. I know you guys have talked about that before with the discussion. He said roughly 350,000, and that would include the primitive area. So, Wanna do any of that, or none of that? Tell me.
Not a fair without a little bit of mud, come on.
You can't concrete the whole thing.
You can, but why would you?
Think of the memories
It'll
that,
just
like,
heave.
these kids are gonna,
That's
like,
what I've said all along.
they're gonna find their one flip-flop where the other one's gone, and they're like 50 years old, and be like, I remember this.
So 561,000, if I'm doing my math right, and
Yeah, and like I said, this is just assigning it, you can always make another motion later to undo it if you want, so.
Real quick on the fairgrounds road improvement, maybe this isn't the proper time to ask, but, was there an offer for us to get a little bit of drainage at one point for some signage?
Drainage from, I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, like drain tiling?
I'm not familiar with that.
I'll make a phone call.
I think what you're thinking of is the Ackerman Arena was discussed.
Yeah, they're gonna tile the arena.
But was there ever any talk about different stuff? And that's what I don't remember hearing.
I'll make a phone call and then I'll call you.
Okay.
A lot around it on the southwest.
Someone
side
just
there.
said that there was an offer from one of our local drainage companies about doing some drainage or in exchange for some signage or advertising.
Hasn't made it to me.
Okay. I'll look into that.
definitely worth looking at though, if
Mhm.
it's an option.
I'll look into it.
Wishes of the commission. These are nothing that can't be undone, these are just, assigning it to those projects and those,
So just for clarity, we're talking about the 350 road improvements to go to the highway department for fairgrounds improvements, so,
Basically, yeah.
okay. And is there a rough plan on what that is?
No, I just asked him for an estimate, and that's what he gave me.
Okay, so maybe contractors, maybe our personnel,
Yeah.
to be determined. Okay, just ask me. Move.
motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
And then Rachel made her request. I broke it down to different ways for you guys to kind of look at. If you look just on here for the balances, the fair had $116,589.11 left out of their budget. Fairgrounds was in the hole though by $28,227.26. If you do the difference there, you got the $88,000.
I don't know where that's, I had it laying here.
A little over $88,000 there. And then on the bottom of this, you kind of see you revenue versus payment. Just revenue over under expenses there at the bottom for fairgrounds and fair.
So the fairgrounds being over, of course, was the liquor inventory we had to purchase in order to sell it. So it's more than made up for in the revenue side, you'll notice that.
The 478 on fairgrounds, you look at?
I don't know which line, but if you remember, we didn't have that whole,
Tyler, that one I did basis kind of balance sheet if they were on their own, income versus expenses.
A lot of numbers here, I'm just trying to make sense of it all.
Yeah.
Good
So,
luck.
yeah, that's kinda how I feel right now. You're saying, okay, the liquor right here.
Yep.
So our expenses, we paid $70,000 for liquor, made 82.
I'm sorry, this person, I saw that.
Okay.
And then, so the second category, is that where you put it, Lynn? The liquor?
Yep, I broke the liquor out by itself.
So what was our net profit on the liquor? 12,044.47?
No, 82,044.
That was our or that was net profit.
Yep.
So the fairgrounds, why was that the expo roof, the 642?
That's their total budget of what they spent.
But they're in the whole 478?
If you just look at just the fairgrounds themselves with
Yeah.
their revenue and expenses, yes.
For the property.
What was the budget though?
772, because you gotta include the fairgrounds worker with that. So if you do those two together, you're over, by 396, 378.87 between the two.
Over budget? Like 390?
If you look at the backside of the other page,
Yeah, I'll take this one.
revenue over versus under expenses.
Okay.
That's the total there.
The fairgrounds was over by 396, the fair was under by 436.
Yeah. So my question is we were over budget because of the roof to the expo, correct?
No, that was done in
Yeah, that was the year before.
but we did do the sprinkler, and we did the telehandler,
Okay.
so there was those other big projects that we took
The
out.
grounds includes equipment.
Right. So we bought a telehandler, and then the sprinkler system was how much again?
48.6.
Nice telehandler.
Yeah, good deal on it. It's only 32.
Because we live with it for 50 years.
Better.
Again.
Yeah.
And I guess one of the things I guess I like to, and I know Lynn is always conservative with her revenue estimates, but when you knock it out of the water with under $1 million is what we anticipated, and you make over, 1.8 million, that money is there, and it's not allocated. And it's only because of the work of the volunteers, and if you look on this sheet, the increase in the sponsorships, if you look at the recap that I sent out, we did get the ATM fees in since we last spoke 2 weeks ago, as well as the Centennial Village portion is included in there, so we're just shy of that 1.8, which we would have been over had we gotten the full Centennial Village allocation. So that 800,000 is sitting there that we didn't anticipate, because we went over what we projected in revenue. And if you look at the sponsorship line, we've tripled that in the last 3 to 4 years. We've really worked hard on getting those partnerships. So this time of year, we're actually going out and making visits with those sponsors and trying to, secure funding for next year's fair, which can be a catch-22, because on one hand, this will hit the insider and the papers and say, oh, you had this surplus, but the way that we can still go to those sponsors is to say, hey, I'm not coming back to you for capital improvements. Whatever you gave, and we're over now, is going into that fairground improvement fund. And I think that's why we've been so successful in those lines, because people want to see those better bathrooms, a new grandstand, hopefully the 4-H building. And now is the only time that we can say, okay, let's take a hard look, what can we afford to put in there,
So, again, I have so many papers in front of me. What was our net profit from fair and fairgrounds?
Fair's 1.8.
Net profit?
Oh, net,
436, 347.84.
if you take just
Okay,
expense and
so
just.
That's this number right
And
here.
then
Yep.
fairgrounds was over by 390.
Yeah, if you look at it separately. as a-
Well, I know, yeah, okay. I see that.
That's not the same though. You're
I'm
not looking at them the same.
I'm trying not to look at them completely the same, but they are related.
If you look at what they had for a budget, correct?
Yep.
That was
1.8.
1.5, well, no, they were 1.5 something.
Was the budget.
It was your budget.
Okay,
I know we're using round numbers, I apologize,
Yeah.
but their actual.
You're not ballparking it.
We're ballparking. Well, their actual expenses, we won't ballpark, I'm not gonna read all the way through, but basically 1.338 million is what they had for expenses for the year on the fair budget. So they were under,
116, 589.11.
yes, 116, not ballpark.
We had that left in our 116,000 that we didn't spend of expenditures.
But then on the other side, you had fairgrounds, you had the liquor in with the fairgrounds budget, and their budget was 772 for both, and their payments would have been, like 7, 10, 12, something like that, between the expenses of the 70,000 and the expenses of the 642, 174.03, correct?
Yeah, they were over by the 28, 227.
How we getting there? My math is fuzzy, but where's my paper? Sorry, I really laid the wrong one down. They had expenses of 642, 147, and expenses of 70,000, right? So 642 and 70 is like 712, correct? Or somewhere 713?
Payments, 712.
Payments, right? That would be their expenses.
Yeah.
And their budget was 772, they should have been,
Yeah, their budget was over the 28, 227, 26, I know that. Printer report went out.
sorry,
So-
I asked the wrong question.
Didn't get printed off.
So we're taking, what you would like us to do is take that fair net profit, put it into the Fairgrounds Improvement Fund.
Honestly, I don't want just the net profit. I want the difference in the revenue that we anticipated and what we actually made. We thought we were gonna make 937,000, and we made 1.8. And I know,
Did we
we
have
do that guess,
extra?
we guess low, because we think it could rain, we could not make that. So to make budget, we guessed low on that, and I get that, but we didn't. We doubled it. And I think that money's sitting there, so what better place to put it?
But it's really not there, because you had 1.388 in expenditures.
Right.
You took in 1.824, but you have 1.388 in expenditures.
Correct.
We still spent the money to get the money.
Right, but both of those were sitting there, and I guess the money to the expenditures were already there as well. We had to have that money sitting there to pay our bills.
Right.
And we guessed low on our revenue, and so that extra money is sitting there. And we did come in below budget on the ground. I get grounds was over because of the liquor and the equipment and the sprinkler, but board, we came in over 100,000 less. We didn't spend all our money in that budget, so.
Well, I guess my question is, this might be complicated, but this is how I'm thinking about this. So let's say we put that money into the Fairgrounds Improvement Fund. Would that money, if that money was there, when we go to buy a telehandler or put a new sprinkler system in, those would come out of the Fairgrounds Improvement Fund, correct?
No. This is for improvements only.
grounds.
Okay, the sprinkler system would have came out of the Fairgrounds Improvement Fund.
That one probably would have.
At the end of the year, you could put it in there,
Yeah.
like if we're over because of improvement projects, because that's usually when I do the voucher and send it to you guys, that we say, okay, this was unanticipated if we're over at the end.
And that would be a
Is it
qualifying
maintenance or is it
expenditure.
improvement? I don't-
That's the question.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
I get
The
that.
telehandler, not so much, but the
Yeah.
sprinkler system, that would be improved.
Probably.
So when we're doing budget, we allocate a certain amount, whether we go over or under. This is a budget, it's a crystal ball, it's 18 months ahead of time. For the grounds, that's basically the facilities, maintaining it for a whole variety of activities. But, primary focus is that week, 10 days, set up, tear down, give or take. For the fair,
They spent 712, so that's why it's 28.
and then when it comes to the fair budget, it's essentially going year over year, what we had from the previous year.
That's under fairgrounds.
So what's your number now?
683.
I guess I wasn't knowing
With the
anything
budget.
about putting in for the roads. That's new information to me. I hadn't heard anything about that. So that's really generous if truly 350,000 is going to highway to delegate it to fairgrounds. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause my ask was gonna be the million to put into the fairground improvement. But I mean, that's all part of it. We just know we have those two major projects we're really hoping to do here in the next 5 years. And we can't fundraise for both. One of them, or part of both of them, is gonna have to come from our budget. 'Cause that 4-H building and the grandstand aren't gonna, I mean, that's just a lot, especially in this economy, and to try to fundraise for.
No, I'm all for rewarding your guys' efforts. I'm not trying to negate that. Just going above and beyond that was difficult,
Mhm.
as far as net profits versus what we're given.
So we
In my
budgeted
opinion.
1.6 for next year. We had 1.5, give or take, for this year. And so the question is, and there's numbers to be moved around a little bit, liquor in and out, you know, it's not insignificant, but it's something to be considered and stuff. So the 1.5 for the anticipated expenses for the fair activities that are appropriate for that budget item. Now that we have pretty much all the numbers that we're gonna include into this, so the 1.5, what was the return above and beyond the 1.5?
436, 347.
This number right here, on
Right.
this other sheet, 436, 347, and 94 cents.
Because essentially, you know, the 1.5 from this year was the carryover plus from the previous year to say break even. Because fortunately, because of the diligent hard work, there have been years where we fell short, which had to be made up with tax dollars, which was a frustration. You know, the whole idea, if at all possible, is the fair activities in a whole cover what it costs to do one of the actual fun, enriching, beneficial things that we're involved in as county government, as opposed to jails, roads, you know, these kinds of things that are necessary for us to do, but, you know, they're making life better for our responsibilities, but it's not something that's above and beyond, it's enriching, you know, for the community and the region. But we'd like it to be able to stand on its own, and when it goes above and beyond because of those efforts, you're asking that that goes into improvements, which is self-generating. And we just need to figure out what the heck that number is.
Well, it sounds like it's 436, 347, 94 cents.
Unless the math is different, or where we're at.
I'm not sure where the disconnect is from a million to this, but
It's in the projected revenue.
But
I
that-
get where
right, but
you're
the-
at,
but
and
the
that's the
actual-
safest
but the
thing.
actual
Yep,
number
no, I
is
get that.
this.
And that's gross revenue,
and we can,
right?
yeah.
Gross,
Yes.
yes.
We
Okay.
could-
What's on our revenue?
But you gotta net the expenses back out.
Yep, no, I get that.
We could make our fair budget next year 100 grand and make 1.8 million, and it's still,
You know, I get
we still
that.
spent 1.3 to make it happen.
There will be a day, like Commissioner B said, when we will have rain, and we won't make
Oh, of
what
course.
we want.
Well, we've had rain.
And
Rain's
so the
okay.
nice thing about a year like this is the extra was made. And so anytime we can put a little extra in there to make up for those years where we're not gonna have anything.
I
Right.
just don't feel like the county can take a loss. It's not a loss. That's the wrong way to put it, but.
If we can do this successfully,
Yeah.
with a lot of effort from a lot of volunteers, which we very much
Mhm.
appreciate, as well as the community and your hard work and the boards and everybody else's, but without having to tap into tax dollars is the ideal situation.
Of course.
If we can. And I appreciate what you're talking about with the sponsorship, and we appreciate the community has stepped up. It's huge. You know, they can look at the balance sheet for the rest of this kind of stuff, but, you know, when you're in business, profit's not a dirty word, as long as you're not
Yep.
gouging people, and it becomes a value question. When they invest into their sponsorships at the fair, it becomes a value question. Not, you know, did you make additional funds to improve? Actually, that's a good thing, as long as it's not just, you know, this ridiculous amount of money, it's not, and it's being squandered or wasted. We have legitimate projects to improve the facilities, which will help improve the experience, which will make that investment for them more valuable going forward. And if they can appropriately justify now that the value is there to make that investment, it's only gonna get better. And so I have absolutely no issue with taking the net additional revenue from this year's activities and the success of that and allocating it for that purpose.
The 436, 347.94.
What, if that's the appropriate number.
And I agree
we can
with
all
that.
agree.
That's what, in my mind, that, and then in addition to that, you're getting 350 for the roads. So you're at 786. That's right.
And like I said, I'm excited about that, because I've
I am
sat here
too.
years
That's a big
where
deal.
we were short, and it was like,
And are you guys, the Fair Board, is that, are you guys happy with that? I mean, is that?
I guess my one question is, does, in our tax system, do we still, years ago, I kinda did a study, and we actually, there's a formula out there, Lynn, is that, do we still, homeowners pay tax that goes towards the fair?
No.
No.
For revenue, there's no revenue there?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just county.
The city will do things like that, where they can take tax dollars and put it to Wiley Park or whatever.
There is a levy you can assess, we just have it for your fair.
because we need bridges and roads.
Well,
and
right,
jails.
I look at, and no offense, but I love the fair. The fair is one of my favorite things of the year. I just look at it as, what is the job of county government? And is it to entertain people? And I kinda have a little bit of a hard time with that. Now, if it's able to sustain on its own under the umbrella of the county, then I'm all for it. I love the fair. But is it the taxpayer's dollars' job to entertain?
I would argue entertainment is only one of the things we do out there. Ag education and promoting our farms and ranches
Sure.
is the biggest. I mean, our achievement days is bar none. I mean, nobody can hold a candle to our achievement days. But I get that is what people see, because the bulk of the money comes from it. Nope, I think that's fair. I wish it were more, because I'm just not sure we're gonna get where we need to be with the strategic plan and those two, that's kinda why we put the extra $250,000 in to request it last year and then pushing it off now, so. But I get where you're at, I've been there.
Yeah, but the totality, we're covering the difference, which is appropriate for the grounds, which is the facilities, which we were a
Can I
little short.
make a comment?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Sorry.
I want to take just a little umbrage with what Commissioner Weiss said about the county only offering one betterment of life. Out on that fairgrounds, there is go-kart racing, and there is also RC track racing, in which the county covers virtually 100% of that cost. And that comes out of that fairgrounds budget. So when you're trying to use that fairgrounds budget against the fair board, just remember that you guys as commissioners made those choices and entered into those agreements. As well as the big project that we're saving for right now is a grandstand, which for the fair is really a 2-day-a-year operation. But for the county, it is a weekly use. And the revenue that you receive, the $35,000, doesn't begin to cover the depreciation on that grandstand. So what we're really asking for is not only to benefit the fair, but to benefit those other aspects that you guys have agreed to in the past, that they are important things for this county. So please keep that in mind with your moving forward here, and just remember that it is not just the fair, it is the car races, it is the go-kart track, it is the RC track, in which the county commission has made those choices in the past to put those events out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for those comments. Well, the RC track, the go-kart track, most of those, we provide space for them for very limited, if any, compensation for it, because we have the space, and have made offers, made it available. We also made the offer to the BMX folks. They chose to stay where they're at for a variety of reasons, which is fine. So we've made those offers to people when we've had the space available, and we're fortunate enough to have the space. You know, not to just toot my own horn, but I'm the one who made the deal with Gary Dombey to get those extra acres that have made that space available with the blessing of the commission at the time for the horse arena and all the rest of those things, and the primitive camping, which has helped us expand the reach and scope, which I want us to continue to do to the best of our ability. So I think, you know, they're all good, great things that we can do. Just trying to balance the numbers wherever that's appropriate here to do that. And if we can demonstrate to the taxpayers the facility belongs to the county, belongs to the people, and we'll maintain that, and we're allocating resources, dollars, tax dollars to do that, I think, to a reasonable extent. The fair itself is a specific special event we allocate significant resources to, and it continues to grow. And to the extent that we can show positive cash flow for that, I absolutely want to put that back into, you know, additional resources for the event as well as the facilities. We just got to balance where that number is. And, you know, the amount that's allocated, the million, almost two, push into that, doesn't come off the top of the taxpayers' property taxes every year to do that.
So then, just run me through this real quick. What did you do? I'm not understanding.
It's kind of like a balance sheet,
Okay.
just the fairgrounds, their revenue versus their expenses, and then the fair revenue versus expenses.
So what's the net revenue of the fair itself?
Fair itself
above and
is
beyond?
436, 347.94.
Okay. And then this year, we're anticipating covering the small, not insignificant shortfall for the fairgrounds,
Yep.
plus an extra $350 for improvements through the road system.
Possibly, yep.
That's where we're
I'd
at.
say with the fairgrounds, though, I think you gotta take into account, and I guess I don't know how much it is, but you had to buy all that liquor and alcohol up front. Not all of it's been used, there's carryovers, so you've got a, say like an asset, call liquor an asset, I guess, I don't know if that's 100%, but, I mean, you've got something that's gonna be sold the coming year because it wasn't all used now, you know what I mean? So there's- You got a
Prepaid
a
inventory.
shortfall, but, yeah, there goes some inventory on hand that's not really taken into account there, so I don't know if it's much of a shortfall on that end.
So the $350 for the road that goes into highway, does that need to be spent here in '26? Is that how that works?
It's assigned, so whenever he would have to.
If I meet with her, can we have a plan for roads and, like, we can do it in '26? Then we just come back here and let you know that? Or is it, okay?
Right.
Allocated.
Better question, like, that 350,000, is that where you want the money? I don't know if I'm opening a can of worms, but like, obviously the roads are very important, but like, on your priority list, is that where you want $350,000 for roads, or do you prefer it somewhere else? I mean,
I don't know that. I don't know what the
Thoughts?
pros of, you know, if Dirk's planning to do some of the work himself, and then we save a little bit on, because we can, other than outside that 2 weeks, we're pretty flexible on
Oh,
when you
yeah.
wanna do a project, so if he's planning to do it himself, it might be better for him to just take it and work with him on that, but I guess I hadn't thought about that till it came up this morning.
350 would be
Right.
very extensive, I mean, within the confines of the fairgrounds for
Sure.
just roads. I mean, it would certainly make big improvements, which...
Why are we sending that to Dirk versus putting it in the Fairgrounds Improvement Fund? Is it,
Is he would
He'd be the one
ultimately
doing the
do the work and expend the money, so we're just reimbursing.
We're doing it at the
that
fairgrounds, but
department.
he's
and that
still the
could
one...
do the same thing if we put it in the Fairgrounds Improvement Fund instead, couldn't it? And allocate it to the Fairgrounds Improvement Fund to be utilized for roads or maybe something else partially?
I think that would muddy the waters a little bit by assigning it to, specifically for roads. That way, we're assigning it for that specific reason. in my opinion.
Just because Dirk's the one that's going to expense the funds and also receive the funds for the benefit of the fairgrounds.
Right.
I pointed you for this.
No, and to be honest, the highway department's been great.
Oh, yeah,
They know,
for sure.
when you talked about drainage projects and stuff, I would never do anything out there without consulting them, just because of the history and the experience that they have with doing drainage projects out there, for better or worse. But they've learned a lot, and anytime we need anything, they're right there, so I would be comfortable with the $350 in highways, knowing that.
Well, if we allocated $350,000, I think it'd be better to go to the highway department for them to do it, because if we allocated it to the fair or the fairgrounds, for example, and you had to go hire a private contractor, you'd probably get 2 miles of road instead of 3 miles of road. I mean, it's gonna be,
Exactly.
you know.
Well, part of the historical rub on this is that the fairgrounds itself is not on a county highway system.
Right.
And no different than the bridge. Dirk's mindset, which is not inappropriate, is to say that, you know, the county highway department is responsible for secondary road system below the federal, state, and between county road system, primarily farm to market, and transportation to the communities in the region. And so it's been difficult for that department, including Dirk as the head of that department, to say, I'm going to expend resources, staff, time, wages, materials on the fairgrounds, because it's not part of the county highway system any more than it's the highway department's responsibility for dredging out channels and waterways and all kinds of other things. That department, with Dirk's leadership recently, is very specific about staying on task with its mission while still being flexible and helpful when it comes to this. If he's got a specific budget to say the fairgrounds is not on the county highway system, but you have a specific budget to say you need to prioritize doing improvements that improve the surface facilities of the fairgrounds in conjunction with your guys' leadership direction plan going forward, it makes it easier for them to be able to fit that in with everything else that they're doing and justify it from a budgetary standpoint, is kind of where that comes from my perspective and experience.
Giving Dirk a separate line item is really giving him permission to go and make upgrades.
Right.
Without, you know, using existing dollars within his budget, which would then neglect some other stretch of road somewhere else in the county, which you don't want to do.
Right.
So.
Which he gets pressure on every day too.
Yes, of course.
So that's not to say it has to all be spent, or there can't be different. It's a budgetary amount to say, here's the justification for this, if you need more, less. If it's not all used, which is fine.
We can come back and
can be carried over, but it says, here's a not insignificant amount of money to make some of the improvements that, you know, we talk about it in just with the primitive camping type of thing. You've got electrical that's available there. When it gets wet and saturated, it's difficult to get out there, and people get stuck, and it's frustrated. I don't know that we want to concrete the whole thing, but...
That was a joke.
But... Well, if you
It'd be
had,
nice.
Ideally, what would you do?
Yeah, it'd be nice. You gave me a blank check.
Yes, we could fix the drainage and concrete the entire inside of the racetrack, and, you know, we could, you know,
Have NASCAR out there.
It's budget time, but we still have a horse track, but the likelihood of us running ponies on that thing again is pretty slim.
Well, we just spent $296,000 on 200 feet of concrete on Brown County 14, so we wouldn't get much.
We're going way deep there.
Well, I think if that's what you
Anyway.
guys are looking at, I think that's more than, it's fair. It goes a long way from where we were a decade, 15 years ago, when nothing was going back to the fair, but like you said, there were years we didn't make money, so, it really, it does send a message to the fair board, knowing that they're putting in that 100, 120 hours of volunteer time, and that they will have a voice at the table when it comes time to kind of where to delegate that money, because they're the boots on the ground out there. One comment I did get from somebody, and I just kind of want to bring it to your attention as we move forward, is there are folks that have talked about donating to that fairground improvement fund or leaving money in trusts, wills, things of that
Mhm.
nature, end of life, and how protected is that fund? That was one thing I didn't have the answer to. So, once it goes,
donation is restricted. So if
Okay.
that's what they want it for, that's where it goes.
sure. So then, auditor's office, for those that were interested, or I'd gotten calls on it, will track restricted versus what's coming out of end of year. So,
It's like the one that you just got, that wanted it in the fair improvement fund, that's where it went.
okay, sounds good.
And along those same lines, that was the caveat behind us getting the sales tax dollars. I mean, the city was willing to do that with the understanding that 100% of those funds would go into that improvement fund and that fund only, not to be used for anything else within the county.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, that account, or that fund is pretty protected. I mean, it has a specific purpose, and the city's action, I think, is clear evidence of there's some interest in helping us achieve our goals. So,
And similarly, I think we should be getting a check, if we haven't already, from the Brown County Speedway for the per seat to get allocation in the new contract. And I think in that contract, it also dictates, hey, I don't think it says grandstand, but fairground improvements. And
Right.
I don't know if Centennial Village's contract is saying that's restricted as well.
Make a motion, but we'll discuss that next
Okay.
week.
Sounds good. No, and I see we do have some board members and staff online that are watching too, and I appreciate Ally and Connell for coming to the meeting too, so.
Very much so.
Yeah.
yeah, thank you to all the fair board members, staff, and other volunteers that are involved in making it one of the greatest, the best county fairs around, so.
And the staff.
On that note, if you look at I like that the budget is on here from 2009 forward, 2009 to 2026, and so you look at that 2009, the budget was 584,000, and 2026 it's going to be just shy of 1.6 million. So to see that is obviously because of the success of the fair. It's not that we did that willy-nilly. It was done because of the fair's, obviously because of the fair's revenues, and obviously when we look at, the future year's budget, you look back at what revenue is. So, I mean, that's clearly, I mean, if you just want to see the success of the fair, you can see, the budget is not quite tripled, but almost tripled over the course, from 2009. So, I mean, it's certainly gotten better and better. I mean, been on a steady trajectory for a long time to get where it's at today.
Along with the revenues again, yeah, we've been lucky.
It's been a lot of hard work. I guess,
around the range.
as you've said before,
I don't think
mean,
it's luck.
I've been on the fair board since back in that 2009, and the commissioners have come on board generously. Because back then, we didn't, if there was any profit, it just, I guess on the fair board, we always said it went into the black hole. We didn't know where it went. So that part of it, you guys have been very generous. The only thing is, and they're very generous to give the money you have this year, but I don't think that 350,000 should be considered to the fair. That should be to those roads need to be updated if we didn't have a fair to some extent. I mean, the OD, that fairground's used year round, and the road upgrade isn't strictly for the fair.
certainly a fairgrounds
Right,
more than it is
fairgrounds.
a fair.
So that should be,
For sure.
to me, that line should stay to the fairground and not showing that
Fairgrounds,
it was donated to us, because I heard you guys talk from 450 to 700 and something, and, and the 450 is that's very good, but I don't want people out there thinking that we got 700.
Right.
We got 450, the fairground got 350. That would be my only.
And there is, to a degree, a lot of that work out there wouldn't take place unless there was a fair. But yeah, and I hope my words that I've said are not to put you guys down or anything like that. I just think it's whatever we can generate off the fair, I think, or any of our heavily volunteer, efforts, I think should be put back into whatever they're working on. So I think that.
I think what Rachel is trying to do is kind of trying to build a pot, so in 5 years, she doesn't come and ask you for $5 million for a grandstand.
Well, she knows what the answer is. She already tried that one.
That's why she's building the pot.
Yeah, she's building the pot, which is good. I'm all for budgeting and slowly earning the...
Well, updating and replacing the grandstands and the facilities out there has been a long-standing goal. It's not easy with everything else that's going on here, and we've made significant strides, and we're gonna continue to do that, and I appreciate that. So, with all the things that have been said and everything else that we've done, can we all come to a pretty well consistent agreement that the fair itself above expenses is $436,000?
$347.94.
Yep, that's the number that's here.
So with a little leeway, I would make a motion that we dedicate $450,000 to the improvement fund.
I guess I have a problem going over the amount of money that the fair actually shows as a profit, primarily because, you know, the line above, the fairgrounds, went over by $400,000, and those are taxpayer dollars.
Right.
And I would be fine with the 347, but to go over that just adds to money that potentially has to come out of Brown County taxpayer pockets.
I lowballed it last year, so I thought I'd go a little over this year.
I'll make
go over by 400,000.
Those were conscious decisions we made during the year for...
436 for 347.94 was the total net.
Right, but...
Separate from the grounds.
But grounds didn't go over 400,000.
No, I'm just going by the revenue over expenses here.
Oh.
Yeah, revenue by, yeah. I'll make a motion for 436, 347.94 to go back in the fair improvement fund.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Dinger, second by Weiss, put $436,347.94 into the Fairgrounds Improvement Fund for 2025. Is there any further discussion, questions, comments? Thank you, everyone, for your input. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We did have our pre-sale went off because of the work of the staff and board and increasing prices just a little bit. We had a record of about $106,000, or well over 100 of pre-sales tickets, so looking forward.
That's rolling out announcements?
We're working on them. What's that?
Do you remember offhand what last year was?
I think it was only like, I can look it up.
Well, that's,
I wanna say
you can give a
30 or
ballpark.
40,000. How much?
40,000 about last
40-ish?
year.
Well, when you send out the lineup that you did so far, I think we're doing pretty good,
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah, and the deep discount you can get real quick, and
Yeah.
so it'll be back on sale in March.
Thank you.
Well,
Very
that's
good.
before, we'll keep
Thank
saying
you.
it, job well done, keep it up.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
And back to this, they got rid of the law library, so I will be closing that out as well. So if I can get a motion to approve that.
Oh,
Motion by Weiss, second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
And then, just so you guys are aware, legislative audit is setting up a new fund for the opioids, so I will be shifting it from 101 to 294, it's listed there at the bottom. So,
Just because, or new GASB rules, or?
they think it's gonna be around a while, so they wanna have its own fund.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Anything else under the budget hearing?
Nope.
That brings us to the end of our budget hearing. I think that's, in my 17 years, the longest budget hearing we've ever had. So thank you for all the input. Moving on, approve quotes for ballot on demand and upgraded poll books for elections. Those two quotes were in the packet.
The ballot on demand is the new print system, so we can print ballots here in-house, and I'm looking at 5 of them. It would be the 3 sites here in town, Groton, and then we'd have one in the office.
I'll move that.
Motion by Dinger,
Second.
second by Weiss. Further discussion.
Is a portion of that reimbursable through the,
Possibly if it gets certified.
okay.
Is it, do you have it, or
have, yeah.
We're able, obviously certified to use it, it's just,
Yeah, it's gonna be, going through legislation, and an emergency clause that they can be used for June.
okay. So we just won't buy the stuff.
Well,
If for some reason
approved
dies.
now that we can put it in for the purchase, and then he'll have it on hand when we need it.
We're not gonna be like caught with, we approved it and we paid them the money and then all of a sudden the state doesn't approve it.
We can, usually
Okay.
buy 'em.
They wouldn't do that.
Well, sorry, I'm to ask dumb questions.
There's only 105 of them.
Yeah.
And they all gotta get on the same page.
I think it's a good idea.
We'll tell you when the gavel drops on final adjournment.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
95
Before or
will
after
let you
midnight.
know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Tyler, are you including full pads then too?
Am I what?
On your motion, do you want that on the full pads too for upgrading
For
or just,
both,
yeah.
both contracts,
Yeah.
okay.
Mike?
Yes.
Now that we voted, say yes.
Just both on
Just
there.
clarifying, so, got it right.
All right, moving on to the consent calendar. Lynn?
Okay, approval of the minutes from the campus of the Richmond Road and Drive District minutes.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Denner, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
General meeting minutes from December 16th.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Denner, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
And the special meeting minutes from December 23rd.
Move. Second.
Motion by Weiss, second by
I
Gage.
wasn't even in on it.
I said it. Okay,
You're
Denner.
the usual suspect.
Motion by Denner, second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claims and payroll.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Dinger, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
HR report.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
For the last.
Claim assignments for the
assignment.
very last time.
Woo!
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. All in, the end of an era.
Can we frame these?
No.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Auditor's report of accounts for November 2025.
Move.
Second. Motion by Weiss, second by Denner. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
I'm not broke yet.
Set hearing date and authorize advertising for zoning ordinances.
Move.
Motion by Weiss, second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Plat, final plat for Larson Walkin' Fest edition.
Move. Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Denner. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
MB Bellica edition.
Move.
Motion by Dinger.
Second.
Second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Child second subdivision.
Move.
Motion by Denner.
Second.
Second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
West Hanson Mud Creek edition.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
D. Munger Estate edition.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Dinger, second by Denner. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Hitchcock first edition.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any other business to come before the Brown County Commission this morning? We didn't receive any requests to go into exec. Is Ross still out there?
He is here.
Nothing? Okay. Anything else to come before the commission? this
Ask
morning?
me to get a year?
Sure we don't?
I'm gonna make it.
I'll get out of here by 10:30.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Dinger, second by Weiss to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Make sure you put that in the paper.
Happy New Year.
We are in